Rita! Where are you?
Help me, Mike. Help me, Mike. Help me.
It's the same dream, night after night. I'm searching for Rita in the dark world, but something unspeakable starts chasing me. I never make it back through the portal in time. It's been more than a year since I foiled the ancients' plans to grow an alien embryo in my brain, and still the dark world haunts me. Rita's murder is just the latest reminder that no place is safe from the darkness. Not even my hometown. Come in. The door's open.
Your mother let me in, Dawson. I had some more questions to ask you about the murder.
Am I a suspect, Sheriff?
Now, we have to look at everybody, Dawson. Especially everyone who was close to Rita.
Rita and I weren't that close, Sheriff.
Now, we all know you and Rita were an item back in high school.
Look, we only saw each other a few times.
I see. Were you having a relationship?
I asked her out a few times, but she was always too busy with the library and stuff.
What sort of stuff?
She always had, I don't know, stuff to do.
That's not an answer.
She had some kind of reading group she always went to.
And did you ever attend one of these reading group meetings?
No, I don't like being around other people these days.
So, you were always trying to get alone with her.
Didn't we go all over this before?
Yes, but that was last week and you left out a lot. The witnesses said you and Rita left the banquet together. What happened when you two were alone?
We weren't intimate, if that's what you're getting at.
I see.
remember being alone with Rita that night. I don't remember anything. I must have gotten drunk.
Is that so? People said they heard you two arguing outside the school building.
Look, Sheriff, I'm going to be late for my doctor appointment.
I know all about your sessions with Dr. Sims, but the mayor wants you to make time to meet with the feds later.
I wish I had something to tell you, Sheriff. I really do.
Well, if you remember anything, see me down at the station. But your memory had better return by today, or things won't look good for you.
This closet has been locked ever since I can remember. The key was lost a long time ago. The stereo stopped working when I was a senior. I never bothered to get it fixed. The stereo stopped working when I was a senior. Strange. It's a sunny day, but it still feels gloomy. It's too valuable. I better leave it here. I used to love movies about swashbucklers. They made me feel like I could be a hero. I'm not tired. It smells good in here. Mom must be cooking something special. Mom always loved this drawing I made as a kid. Too bad she doesn't care as much about my writing. Mom looks pretty good considering all she's been through. Morning, Mom.
So it takes the sheriff to wake you up, Mike?
I don't feel like talking about the sheriff, Mom.
Fine. You never feel like talking.
I think I'll eat over at Hank's for breakfast.
You should know better than to eat the greasy food at that diner. I thought you were going to start eating healthier. You're not in high school anymore, you know.
You know, you woke me up with all those pots banging.
Sorry, Mike, but it's time that you got up. The sun has been shining for hours.
Gosh, Mom, you treat me like I'm in high school again.
Well, then start acting your age. You came home to recover from your nervous breakdown, which is fine, but you've been here for a year now. When are you going back to your job?
but I have an extended sick leave for as long as I need it.
Well, I think you've recovered from whatever it was. I don't know what happened to you in that old house in California, but surely it couldn't have been that bad.
You're ashamed of me, aren't you?
No, son, I'm not ashamed of you. I just wish I knew what was bothering you. You were always full of energy and life. Since that nervous breakdown, all you do is stare at the walls.
I'm having a hard time getting motivated.
You know, Mike, you're late for your doctor appointment. You're never going to snap out of your depression unless you see the doctor. And after that, I'd like you to do some errands for me.
But I've got things to do today, Mom.
Like what? You don't do a damn thing around here anymore.
I'm starting to get a headache.
Well, that's what your medicine is for. You know where to find it.
By the way, Mom, thanks for taking care of me this past year.
I love you, Mike. I just want you to get well again.
When I was a kid, my family used to gather here to watch television. This bathroom always smells of Mom's perfume. Hey, that's Jack. He likes to think he's tough with that motorcycle and all, but he's about the only new friend I've made since I returned home.
Well, are you just gonna stand there gaping at me, Mikey boy, or are you gonna take a load off your feet?
What are you doing here?
I'm here to sweep the sleep cooties from your eyes and get your butt motivated. So, how's my favorite mental case today?
Don't joke about my nervous breakdown, Jack. I thought you were my friend.
Relax, Michael boy, relax. Geez, you must be under a lot of stress. They say your sense of humor is the first thing to go.
The sheriff thinks I murdered Rita.
Yeah, I know. I overheard Deputy Brown talking in the diner. You're the #1 suspect.
You overheard the deputy? That's great. Everyone must know by now.
It's a small town, people talk. But that could work to our advantage. I have a plan.
I'm too hungry to think right now, Jack. How about joining me at the diner?
I don't think I'm very welcome there. Not after that stunt I pulled with a jukebox. Let's meet here after you've done stuffing your face.
I've got an appointment with Dr. Sims soon. Let's get together afterwards.
You're seeing that, Quack? Don't waste your time with that head shrinker. Listen to your old pal Jack instead. Okay, we'll meet here after you're done with Dr. Sigmund Fraud.
You know, Jack, I still can't remember what happened that night.
Nothing happened. You know that, and I know that.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for believing me.
Now, don't get all mushy on me. I'll meet you right here after your doctor's appointment. Until then, hang loose.
Even though I grew up in this town, I still find that a map helps me get to places quickly. The carnival has been set up here in the park for more than a week now. I wonder when it's going to finally open. Oh my God! This is where Rita was murdered! Rita, who could have done this to you? They're empty. They must have emptied the trash earlier. They're empty. They must have emptied the trash earlier. I haven't been past the Ramirez mansion in a long time. It's one of the town's oldest landmarks. They used to own all of the land around. Hello, Mrs. Ramirez. I'm Mike Dawson. I grew up in this town.
Did you? Well, what do you want?
I was just admiring your house.
It is lovely, isn't it? It's over a century old. At one time, it was the only building around here for miles.
So your family's been here a long time?
My late husband's family, actually. But they're all dead and gone. It's just me now.
You must get lonely sometimes.
Nonsense! I have my church, my books, and I have my money.
It must cost a lot to insure a place like this. My dad used to be in the insurance business.
I'm sorry to hear that. Those insurance people are godless swine, worshipping nothing but the almighty dollar. Why, they even tried to cheat me out of my husband's life insurance. I finally had to take them to court, but I won.
I couldn't help but notice all the religious icons you have.
Yes, they ward off the evil that is running amok here in Crowley. This town used to be a God-fearing community, but now I don't dare to leave my house except to go to church.
Why do you think the town is corrupted by evil?
Why, just stroll along the street, and you will find vice and decadence behind every door. The church is our only hope for salvation. You do attend church, don't you?
I go to church whenever I get the chance, I guess.
You should go to church every Sunday, at least, and more often than that when possible. There are dark forces at work here, and your soul must be fortified to resist temptation.
Thank you, Mrs. Ramirez. I appreciate your time.
God be with you, young man.
Mrs. Ramirez is obviously a God-fearing woman, and she wants everyone to know it, too. The carnival doesn't look like it's going to open anytime soon. I've been finding reasons to avoid going to Dr. Sim's office during the past week. Rita used to live just around the corner. This sign says that the hardware store will be closed for the next 2 weeks. There's Paul Cooper. For a guy who runs a hardware store, he doesn't keep his house in very good shape. Nice lawn, though. I've never seen anyone take watering their lawn so seriously. Hi, Mr. Cooper. I'm Mike Dawson. Remember me?
Sure, Mike. I remember you.
So how's the hardware store business?
Great. I've given myself a vacation for the first time in about 3 years. The store is closed right now. I'm just going to relax and water my lawn for the next week or two.
Does your lawn need that much water?
It's dry. It's always dry. Gotta get it ready. You know how it is. It's nice to have a pretty lawn. I'll have a big water bill, but I don't care. As long as it keeps pumping, I'll keep watering.
I was wondering how well you knew Rita Scanlon.
Rita? Well, she lived across the street. We'd wave to each other. Why? Was she a friend of yours?
We went to high school together a few years back.
Yes? I didn't really know her back then. She moved in over there about 8 years ago, but I didn't talk to her much.
Pretty terrible news about the murder.
It certainly was. The second murder this year. I don't know what's going on in this town anymore.
What do you know about a second murder?
Old man Ramirez died in a fire. Some say it was an accident, but I think he was done in. A real shame. He was a steady customer at the hardware store. Liked to read, too.
Do you know of anything else strange going on in town?
No. Why do you ask? Nothing ever happens here. The town is full of cobwebs and stagnation. It needs a good cleansing. Until the murders, the place was just too quiet.
Why do you say the town's too quiet?
It was as if the town was waiting for a messenger or something. So I water the lawn and get it ready. I want to have a nice lawn ready for the messenger when he comes.
I think I have to leave now. You take real good care of yourself, Paul.
Take care of yourself, Mike.
Why is the deputy standing guard in front of Rita's house? She wasn't killed at home. There must be some evidence inside that the police are protecting. Hi, Deputy Brown. What's new?
Oh, hello, Mike. What are you doing here?
You look like you're on guard duty.
I'm keeping watch over Rita Scanlon's house.
A week after the murder?
I'm just following orders, Mike. I'm not supposed to let anyone in. We've had problems with vandalism before.
What for? What's in there?
Not a thing. But we need to keep Rita's house intact until the FBI comes. They'll want to go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
When's your shift over?
Who knows? We've been working overtime at the sheriff's office ever since the body was discovered. This case is being given top priority. Unless there's an emergency or something, I have to stay put.
So how's the murder investigation going?
Come on, Mike. You know I shouldn't be talking to you about that. Go on now, let me do my job.
I'm not climbing up there. I'm afraid of heights. Hank's diner in the pool hall next door played a large part in my teenage years. I took Rita to the diner on our first date when we were both juniors in high school. Hank's diner isn't the swinging place it used to be, but Hank still does enough business to keep the place going. How's it going, Hank?
My back's been acting up, but otherwise not too bad. How are you, Mike?
I'm starving. What have you got to eat around here?
Like you haven't seen my menu 1,000 times. What are you hungry for? Ham and eggs, grits, pancakes?
Pancakes? Rita and I used to come here for pancakes after church.
You two were quite an item back when you were in high school. Shame about what happened to her. Real tragedy.
Who do you think murdered Rita?
Oh, I can't imagine it was anyone from around here. But he's one sick dude, whoever he is.
Sick? Murder isn't a disease. It's evil.
Relax, Mike. It's just a figure of speech. I don't think anyone's going to show the killer any compassion when they catch up with him.
Have you heard any more about the investigation?
Deputy Brown stopped by to get some coffee and donuts on his way to Rita's place. He was saying that the FBI might be called in. Doc Larson was telling us some pretty grisly stuff.
I heard about the FBI from the sheriff.
Say, Mike, weren't you with Rita the night she was killed?
Rita was my date to the high school reunion.
Well, what happened? She got killed in the park near the Ramirez mansion. Didn't you walk her home?
I can't remember about that night, Hank. It's these headaches.
Mike, you and I go way back. As a friend, I'm telling you that you better start remembering quick. Deputy Brown was saying that the sheriff doesn't want to waste any time on this case.
I'm seeing Dr. Sims in a short while. Maybe he can jog my memory.
Don't waste your money on head shrinkers, Mike. Whenever I forget something, I just retrace my steps.
What did Doc Larson have to say?
He wouldn't go into any details because he wants to keep certain things from the public. I haven't seen Doc Larson so excited since that other murder.
What other murder?
Old man Ramirez. He died in a fire a few weeks back and left his wife a very rich widow. Funny how Rita died so close to his house.
I don't see anything funny about Rita's death.
Sorry, Mike. I forgot that you two were friends. It's just that Rita and Ramirez were, friends. Some folks saw them walking in the park together and holding hands.
I don't believe it. Rita wouldn't fool around with a married man.
You're right. It's just gossip. Forget I ever said anything.
Rita was murdered in a public park. How could they keep any details secret?
Doc Larson had her body moved to the morgue before dawn. Deputy Brown said the sheriff wasn't too happy about that. Didn't give him much of a chance to examine the crime scene first.
I need some fresh air.
You don't look well, Mike. Why don't you go out for a walk? Nice day for it.
I think I'll just do that, Hank. See you later.
Take care, Mike.
None of these songs is worth spending a quarter on. I don't seem to be as interested in music as I once was. There's Jimmy Gardner and Melissa Fleming. Jimmy's the type of loser I'd expect to see in a place like this. But it's surprising to find the mayor's wife here. Hey, remember me? I'm Mike Dawson. It's been a long time.
Not long enough to suit me.
Hey, why the cold shoulder?
What makes you think you're worth giving the cold shoulder to?
So what are you doing here in the pool hall? Seeing Jimmy?
What are you insinuating? I'm a married woman, I'll have you know. I just came in here for a smoke.
Well, you did used to date Jimmy back when you were a cheerleader.
That was a long time ago. We're not the same people we were in high school, you know.
I heard that you married Mayor Fleming. He used to be my dad's partner, you know.
Oh, please don't give me that he's old enough to be my father routine. I've heard it all.
When did you take up smoking? Don't you know it's bad for your health?
Yeah? Well, there's lots of things that are bad for your health.
Poor Rita. It's a shame what happened to her.
Poor Rita? That little tramp had it coming to her.
How can you say such things about Rita?
Forget it, Dawson. Forget I even said it. Now buzz off.
Hi, Jimmy. Long time no see.
Well, well, it's Mr. Big Shot Ryder. What brings you down to this part of town? Slummin'?
How about a game of pool?
Cut the crap, Dawson. We might have been friends once, but that was a long time ago.
What happened to you? You were a straight-A student until you dropped out.
I guess I'm just the town's bad seed. You went off to college and joined the establishment. I stayed here and became a statistic.
We were friends in high school. Why are you so angry with me now?
Let's just say that you and I don't share the same interests anymore.
You're a real tough guy now, aren't you, Jimmy?
You got that right, chump. I'm the local wise guy, so stay out of my way.
I hear that your interests these days aren't exactly on the up and up.
So what? There's a lot going on in this town that ain't exactly on the up and up.
Tell me, Jimmy, how come the sheriff leaves you alone?
That's easy in this town. That flatfoot doesn't know his butt from an armadillo. But I got the goods on him. He doesn't bother me.
What do you know about Sheriff Butler?
I know he's down here trying to get away from what happened in Dallas. Yeah, he's a real champion of justice, all right.
Maybe I should go.
Yeah, get out before I throw you out.
The mayor campaigned on how he was going to rid our streets of the homeless, but I guess they just got driven into sheds like this. Another evil that's been hidden but still exists. I found an old coat hanger. This might be useful. I once read a story about how a thief used a wire to open a lock. It's hard to believe that someone could live in this dilapidated old shed. I shouldn't take someone else's supper. Besides, I don't have much of an appetite these days. There's nothing here I can use. 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 I shouldn't take someone else's supper. The Civic Center. We used to joke about the sheriff's office, courthouse, and morgue all being next door to each other. First they tie 'em, then they try 'em, then they fry 'em. I wonder why a morgue would have a waiting room. Andy and Barney would be right at home here. But this ain't Mayberry, and unless I can get the sheriff off my back, there ain't going to be a happy sitcom ending. Hi, Sheriff. I just came in to get out of the heat.
Dawson, I was hoping that you'd show up.
You're in your office on weekends too, huh?
That's right, Dawson. I'm a dedicated public servant. I'm gonna stay right here until we get that murder solved. Unless there's an emergency, of course.
Well, I think I'll be going now.
You know, Dawson, sooner or later you're gonna make a mistake, and then I'm gonna lock you up for the rest of your natural life.
I never was any good at picking locks. The gate is locked up tight. It would be tough to break in and get a sneak preview of the carnival. I guess I'll have to wait until it opens. I never was any good at picking locks. I never was any good at picking locks.